And good morning, everybody. Welcome to Hot Takes, Goodman and Haertl. Bruce, it is really hard to believe. There's a great saying about parenting. The days are long, but the years are fast.
Right.
It is incredible to me that tomorrow's the 4th of July.
It's gotten away from us. A cautionary warning for those of you still in the younger throes of life. Time becomes a very interesting thing for as you get older. It inevitably speeds up.
Yep.
And when I say inevitably, that means that once it does start speeding up, there is no stopping it. It's remarkable.
Right.
So you're absolutely right. It's hard to believe that we are halfway through this year. It's hard to believe that we are now inside of 3 weeks from the start of training camp.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe that rookies will be there before we know it. All of the cycle of life, January 1 isn't the start of our year. The start of our year is really the end of July, right? With training camp. That's where the cycle begins again. And so I look forward to it. I do.
It's funny when you talk about, where we're at on the calendar with what the Broncos potentially can do now that they have a quarterback, what they've done during the offseason. Can't wait for the start of the season.
Right.
Last week, I wouldn't have necessarily said can't wait for the start of the Nugget season. Now I can.
Right.
I know it seems like a minor move with Brent Burns. Even without him, I'm looking forward to the start of the Avs season. To me, this is a significant pickup on the blue line. We'll address this a little bit later on in the show. Very much looking forward to the Avs season, but even more looking forward to seeing what they do at the trade deadline in February, because they're going to have money to spend. That's how this team tends to build, not through free agency, but through trades. And finally, they're going to have the money to do it. Can't wait, can't wait, can't wait. Can't wait for the Rockies season to end. With that, want to tell you about Roller Auctions, the best way to buy what you want at the price you want. Leader in Colorado auctions for over 45 years. On Wednesday, July 11th, the Larkspur Outlet and Home Improvement Store clearing out excess inventory, including structure wood, fencing, decking, bathroom, kitchen, and laundry room accessories, light fixtures, contractor tools, and more. Bidding is started online at rollerauction.com. Get notifications about upcoming auctions at rollerauction.com as well. Get what you want at the price you want today at a Roller Auction. Time now for the lead.
The lead is presented by Smokin' Dave's Barbecue. It is not just the best barbecue in town, it is one of the best restaurants in town. You can find Smokin' Dave's Barbecue off 36th and Pecos.
Well, before you got to Denver, I think I might have been doing the show with Les or maybe Mike Pritchard, and I said, I don't think the Nuggets will ever win a championship. I said they're the furthest away. They will always be the furthest away because they have to build from within. Free agents will never want to come to Denver for a lot of different reasons. With all, I don't know how to really put this, but generally speaking, you look at New York, Miami, Los Angeles. Denver doesn't have an urban flair, let's just call it like it is, that necessarily appeals to NBA players. It has as much appeal as Utah does. Okay? Look at the history of free agents that have come to Denver. Paul Millsap. Got any more All-Stars? And that is my point. So with that, when I saw this story, I was like, damn, how times could potentially change. There are multiple betting sites who have listed the Nuggets as one of the favorites to land Dame Lillard once he comes back from a torn Achilles that he suffered in the playoffs. According to BetOnline, Miami is the 4-1 favorite. The Nuggets' second best odds at 5-1. And before you say, how are the Nuggets going to pay Lillard? He's being paid. $113 million still owed to him by Milwaukee. With that, with all of the moves the Nuggets have made, why do you think the odds makers are so high on the Nuggets landing Lillard?
Because Lillard is hunting a championship, the thing that he still doesn't have on his resume, the thing that sent him from Portland to Milwaukee. And I think you can make a fairly good argument that Denver is the team that gives him the best chance to realize that, depending on where we are next spring, right? Because he's coming off an Achilles, but it's a very captivating possibility. But that would be my guess. He's hunting a championship.
All right. San Antonio has no room for him. They're loaded at the guard position,
right?
Specifically shooting guard position. San Antonio, bang, off the table. Oklahoma City, they don't need him. Favorite. So 2 young up-and-coming teams, one's already there, Oklahoma City, they don't need him. Then you go to the East. Yeah, New York might want him. Miami might want him. It's going to be an easier path to the NBA final. I get that. Would Houston really need him? I mean, do you really want Durant and Dame Lillard on the floor at the same time? Does that make a lot of sense? I think a lot of this makes sense, why Dame Lillard would want to come here. But the question for you is this. What kind of scenario could you envision where, when, timing, Lillard joins the Nuggets? Because this is his situation right now. He can sign with a team if a team wants to sign him. They're just going to pay him as he goes through rehab, and he might not be available until the All-Star break, or he can wait. For the first time in his career, he is actually a free agent. It's hard to believe it. A guy who's 34 has never been a free agent before, and he has so many different options. He can sign a vet minimum contract, sign for the rest of the year, and then become a free agent. Show everybody that his Achilles is fine. He has so many different options. To me, the Nuggets make a lot of sense for him. It really does. And I'm not trying to, pump some tires here to get everybody excited, but it does make sense to me for him coming here for 3-4 months, and let's see what he could do.
Well, Damian Lillard is one of those rare guys that regardless of where he shows up, you can pretty much plug and play him. Yeah. He just has that type of versatility as a player. He seems to be, by all accounts, a very good teammate. Yes. He's not a disruption. He's a guy that is part of the answer, not part of the question, not part of the problem, but part of the solution. So, and getting back to what we were just chatting about, if the drive for a championship is the sole motivating factor, and at this point in his career, what else could it be? He's done everything else. I mean, so that's the only thing that drives him at this particular point. I cannot imagine that he would be a disruption. I think that he would be willing and able and to move right in, feather himself in, be a good addition to any team looking for that one extra element in whatever way he needs to be. I don't think he needs to be a 34-minute a game kind of guy.
He's not going to be that guy coming off an Achilles
that can help a team win a. No, he's not. So, so as long as he would be comfortable with whatever role that would work for that team, then I think it would be an unbelievable fit. But the Nuggets have got to do, in this scenario only, the Nuggets need to do their part. They need to be an attractive team come February, right? Not a team that's clawing their way up, but a team that is an attractive team that looks like the contender that we think that they will be, and that maybe if you add a piece, boom, you can be a championship guy.
Don't worry about them being fined by the trade deadline, barring major injuries. That's it. It's the only thing that's going to hold them back. Jokic goes out for the season. That's it, right? Major injuries to Aaron Gordon, Jamal Murray, so on and so forth. Now, listen, if you have a major injury to Jamal Murray, you absolutely go after Dame Lillard if he's available. I think with what the Nuggets have done so far, specifically at the guard position, who's the odd man out? Is it going to be – it's not going to be Murray, clearly.
No.
Would it be Christian Brown? Would it be Bruce Brown? Would it be Tim Hardaway Jr.? Who's the odd man out? Where do you put Dame Lillard? Clearly, you're going to find a spot for him, but who gets to play the Mike Miller role of waving the towel?
Yeah, well and that
Jalen
will be
Pickett's going to be that guy for sure, but who's going to join him?
That's the delicate part of the equation. And actually, I think for David Adelman, it'd be a good problem to have, because let me just say this. If Dame Lillard is in the mix for the Nuggets at that point, it means that the Nuggets are right where they need to be. And now, look, if you've got guys that have been doing heavy lifting and all of a sudden Dame Lillard comes in, there's some balancing that needs to be taken care of there. There's no question. From a psychological standpoint, from a leadership standpoint, David Adelman has to make delicate decisions about minutes and where they come from and how many you put on Damian Lillard. There's always a component, Eric, and you know this as well as anyone, of upsetting the apple cart, the potential for upsetting the apple cart. You've got to be careful about that. And if you've gotten to a place where, man, you are cooking with oil and you are one of the top teams in the West, you got to be careful about adding, subtracting, and doing things like that. But to me, the lowest risk kind of player to add would be a player like Damian Lillard.
Okay, real quick. Just give me a quick yes or no, and then I want to move on. Would you like to see the Nuggets make another move right now, at this moment?
No, I don't think it's necessary right now. Not now.
And I wouldn't want them to make another move. No. Change is good. I believe in that. I really do. CEO, the acronym, Chief Executive Officer, can also be an acronym for change equals opportunity. They've done plenty of change. I don't want to see any more. So it would almost be like too much change.
Yeah.
Which sounds nuts. It's like, I love pizza, but I don't need another piece. I'm good. I'm totally fine.
Right.
So let's say, for the sake of argument, they bring in Lillard, if he's still available. Okay. You start him with Murray.
I certainly think that that's an option. I mean, I really do.
I don't think it's an option at all.
You don't think it's an option?
No. Nope.
Well, it certainly is an option.
It's an option.
It may not be something that you want to do, but it would be an option.
Okay. It's an option, obviously. Okay. Thank you for correcting me on that. Everything obviously would be an option. When you have a guy coming off an Achilles, you don't want him playing starters minutes. You give him a Russell Westbrook role. Let's see how he's playing, and then we'll gauge his minutes that way. He might be on the floor in the final 5 minutes of the game. He might play 10 minutes in a game. But I don't think a Murray-Lillard backcourt is great harmony. You have Murray, who wants to shoot a lot. You have Lillard, who's a volume shooter. And then, of course, you have Jokic. Oh, what about Cam Johnson? You think we should try and find some dunks for, Aaron Gordon? Sometimes there's too much out there. First of all, let me say one more thing.
Yeah.
Dame Lillard is not as good of a defensive player as Christian Brown.
No.
I like Christian Brown doesn't demand the ball. He knows his role, and he plays his role really well. Dame Lillard is a volume shooter. How would you like Dame Lillard coming off your bench? They already have a terrific starting five. How about Dame Lillard coming off your bench with Bruce Brown or Tim Hardaway playing point? What in the hell would that look like? How many open looks would a Peyton Watson get with people on Dame Lillard and a Julian Strawther? That would be unbelievable.
Well, and that would be, for me, that would be optimum. And I think that that's the role that he would probably fill. But again, that falls into the category of, can you imagine and can you shape the vision for him and how he's going to be used in a manner that works with the chemistry and the physical success that the team has had? You've got to be careful when guys have contributed and gotten used to contributing in certain ways to change that at a very pivotal time in the season. Remember, late in the season historically is a time when you start shortening the bench, not adding to the bench, right?
Yeah.
So that's a different dynamic, and it would be a different dynamic for David Adelman, but it would be like I said, if the Nuggets are in position in February to get a Dame Lillard by the end of February, early March, whatever the case might be, that's a really good thing for the Denver Nuggets.
I'm going to set this up, what I'm about to say, this way. I am dumb. I just am. I do dumb things. And I'm going to tell you one thing that I do that's dumb, and then I'm going to tell you another thing that I think I hope the Nuggets don't do, and that's dumb too. When I'm playing golf with my wife, she will say to me, if I'm not playing well, why don't you take a couple of lessons? To which I will say, I can't take any lessons. She'll say, why? And I'll say, well, I am self-taught. I've become a pretty good player, and I'm self-taught. I could never tell anyone I'm self-taught once I take the lesson. I lose my narrative. So I have to gut it out not taking a lesson. I can't say I taught myself how to play and now I've taken lessons. I have to be consistent with it. That's dumb.
You're right.
Let's get it out there. Let's get it out there.
Because all you really need is you don't need reconstruction. You need tweaking. And sometimes a different set of eyes can be helpful for that.
It's a pride thing.
Right.
Okay? Pride thing.
I feel you.
I'll give you something else that's dumb, especially sports fans would think it's dumb. AFC championship game. Let's just go back, when Manning and Brady were playing. And it's for the right to go to the Super Bowl. I want Tom Brady on the field. I don't want him injured. I don't want the Broncos to get an easy win in the AFC championship game and go to the Super Bowl. I want some competition. If the Broncos go to the Super Bowl and for some reason, I don't know, they play the Washington Commanders, I want Jaden Daniels on that field. I don't want the backup in the Super Bowl. I don't want an asterisk in my own head that they won a Super Bowl because they were missing their starting quarterback. So that brings me to this. I love the narrative that Nikola Jokic has never played with an all-star. Love that narrative. I want that narrative to continue. Granted, technically he has played with an all-star in DeAndre Jordan, who I believe was an all-star with Bill Walton in 1978.
And Millsap was an all-star for a year in Atlanta, I think. So, I hear you. Yeah. For all intents and purposes, he has not played with an all-star.
So my point is this. I want to see them win a championship with the team they have assembled. If they bring in Dame Lillard, some of the narrative will be nationally. And I'm talking about Jokic's legacy. Well, they needed to bring in a top 75 player of all time for Jokic to win another title. I want to see Jokic win it because Jokic just wins it. You look at the greats who have won, right? Give me a top 5 player of all time, and I'll show you a Hall of Famer standing next to him.
Nikola Jokic is at a point where no one could really usurp his. Nikola Jokic is the top dog.
I understand
and no one else is even in the kennel.
Listen, I understand
that includes Damian Lillard.
Let's say, for the sake of argument, the Lakers traded LeBron James to the Nuggets. For the sake of argument, if Jokic wins a title, it's not going to be looked at the same. It's going to be looked at as like team building, something LeBron used to do. The Nuggets did it the right way through the draft. Now they've added some pieces. I don't want Jokic's legacy to be he did it, but they team built around him with superstars to get him titles. They have team built around him with a bunch of guys. When you look at them as a whole, you're like, what did they really do? In a lot of ways, that's the national perspective. But what those people don't understand is all those guys fill the roles they desperately need. So yes, of course, I would like Dame Lillard on this team, but there's a part of me that doesn't, because I want to see them win without him.
Well,
I want everyone to know this here. When you look at the Bulls, when Michael Jordan won all those titles, clearly it was Michael Jordan, right?
Pretty clearly.
Any reasonable person who understands basketball will say Jordan never wins a title without Scottie Pippen. He doesn't, okay? They have a top 75 player in Scottie Pippen. I like that it's Joker and the Jokettes. And I say that with all due respect to Aaron Gordon and Jamal Murray, so on and so forth. Yes, I would like Dame Lillard on this team, but it's like I don't want him to have any more help that suddenly becomes a narrative that Jokic needed it to get his second title. I know it's stupid, but it's as stupid as this is why I'm not taking golf lessons. It's just this is what I think.
It's okay. But let's just make that a small part of your concern, because I don't think that anything can happen as long as Nikola Jokic remains the center post of championships. the more the merrier. I don't think anything can change his legacy. I believe that Nikola Jokic is on a path of enduring greatness long after his years are done, regardless. And if he can add a couple more by hook or crook or however he does it, all it does is enhance the legacy of what we already know, one of the greatest players in NBA history, period, for me. That's it.
All right. Coming up after the break, the Avalanche make a move, and if you just look at it strictly on the Wikipedia page, just on top, Brent Burns, dude's going to be 41 years old in March. This was a really good under-the-radar signing. Really, really, really good for a guy who's 40. We'll explain why next.
Spice up your next night out at Nola Jane and Lodo. Authentic Cajun cuisine like andouille sausage gumbo with dirty rice, crawfish etouffee, as well as 6 different po' boys like soft-shell crab and shrimp. Come in before or after a game at Ball Arena. Host a party or party on their rooftop deck overlooking Market Street during happy hour from 11 a.m. to 5. Plus, Nola Jane caters, delivers, and the kitchen is open late night. Make Nola Jane your new favorite spot to eat, drink, and party like it's Mardi Gras.
Ferguson's Heating and Cooling is the best in Denver, and their customers agree. Ferguson's has 165 5-star Google reviews, and here's one from Betsy. Highly professional, prompt, and honest. I switched to Ferguson's when I became aware my former company was trying to sell me a whole new system I didn't need. Ferguson's is an honest, working, family-owned business that'll give you a fair price, the highest quality parts and equipment, and they always show up on time. You can trust the Ferguson family like you trust your own family. Go to fergusonsheatingandcooling.com.
Everyone has their favorite barbecue spot. Mine, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew. My favorites, slowly smoked ribs, smoked corned beef Reuben, smoked meatloaf with a portobello balsamic cream sauce. And don't forget about Smokin' Dave's 16-hour smoked brisket and pork with one of their 4 homemade barbecue sauces. Great sides, you bet. Barbecue beans made with pork and brisket and their southern corned bake. Man, you got to try it. Plus, they have amazing non-barbecue entrees on the menu. Go where I go, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew in North Denver.
Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos in Blackhawk have another incredible promotion. They'll be giving away a pair of Spider Cruisers or over $15,000 in cash the weekend of July 18th, just in time for the Sturgis Bike Rally in South Dakota. That's right, your choice, cruisers or $15,000 in cash. Get finalist entries every 45 minutes from 10 a.m. to midnight during their daily cash drawing with a locked-up jackpot of $100 or more. Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos, loose slots, great promotions, great food, and a family-owned casino that treats you like family.
Everyone has their favorite sports bar. Mine, the Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch in the DTC. Both locations are everything a sports bar should be. An upscale menu with 12 different burgers, outstanding wings, and my favorite, the Philly cheesesteak egg rolls. They've got every game on the NFL Sunday Ticket, MLB Extra Innings, NHL Center Ice, NBA League Pass, plus soccer, rugby, and UFC. Sportsbook is a hangout bar or great for private parties. The Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch, the DTC, and coming soon to Parker. They are the sports bar.
Ever wondered where city and county fleet vehicles go when they retire? Now's your chance to find out and score big. Imagine driving away with a great deal on a reliable vehicle. For over 45 years, Roller Auction has been the trusted source for government fleet vehicles and equipment. Trucks, SUVs, sedans, and more, all selling to the highest bidder. Don't miss out. Visit roller.bid/hot takes to get auction updates today. Your next vehicle could be just a click away.
Spice up your next night out at Nola Jane and Lodo. Authentic Cajun cuisine like andouille sausage gumbo with dirty rice, crawfish etouffee, as well as 6 different po' boys like soft-shell crab and shrimp. Come in before or after a game at Ball Arena. Host a party or party on their rooftop deck overlooking Market Street during happy hour from 11 a.m. to 5. Plus, Nola Jane caters, delivers, and the kitchen is open late night. Make Nola Jane your new favorite spot to eat, drink, and party like it's Mardi Gras.
And welcome back. Hot Takes, Goodman and Haertl. Tomorrow's the 4th of July. Some of you will be throwing your favorite carcass on the grill. But if you don't want to do that, I'd highly recommend you cater in from Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew. Barbecue is awesome on the 4th of July. That's why you always see sales at King Soopers and Safeway for barbecue sauce on the 4th of July. So how about Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew, where they make their own sauces? You can cater in slowly smoked ribs, which are outstanding. You could do chicken wings, brisket, pulled pork. Just put them on chafing dishes and let all your friends and family enjoy barbecue the way it should be cooked. Outstanding size, mac and cheese, cornbread, collard greens, coleslaw. All their desserts are homemade. That would be one hell of a 4th of July party. No matter how good of a cook you are, trust me, you're not doing it better than Dave at Smokin' Dave's. You can find them off of 36th and Pecos. Time now for What's Trending.
What's Trending is presented by Ferguson's Heating and Cooling. Your family should trust the Ferguson family for all your heating and cooling needs, and you'll see why they have over 165 5-star Google reviews. Make an appointment today at fergusonsheatingandcooling.com.
At first glance, just to go on the Wayback Machine, it looks like the Avalanche signed Jamie Moyer. If you remember who Jamie Moyer was, 47-year-old pitcher signed by the Rockies, and he pitched okay, and that was pretty much it for him. So now let's look at a guy in his 40s, Brent Burns. 1-year deal, $1 million, chance to make $3 million with incentives. He gets better, trust me. Former Norris Trophy winner, okay? Doesn't seem to be slowing down at all. Averaged over 20 minutes per game with Carolina last season. Also hasn't missed a game since 2013, a streak of 925 consecutive.
Wait a minute. Say that again?
Hasn't missed a game since 2013.
Wow.
He is an Iron Man.
Yep.
He is durable. He is tough. He has a great shot from the point that always seems to find a way to leak through to the goal. He is outstanding as a penalty killer. And he had a down year for him offensively, he would have been the Avalanche's third leading scoring defenseman this past year. This guy is still playing at a relatively high level. There have been some criticisms of him, in Carolina that, maybe he has some brain farts every once in a while and, key situations. He is 40. I'm 56. I have brain farts all the time on this show. I can relate. Yeah. With that, how significant is this signing?
Well, on top of the fact that he's 6'5", 230, so that gives the Avs what they wanted. They wanted to get bigger and more rugged and more physical at the blue line. So you take in a guy like this, that what is that now? 10 years, something like that, where he hasn't missed a game. He's basically suited for every game that his team could play. It's pretty remarkable. I like the move. It's one that probably slips under the radar with a lot of Avs fans, or some Avs fans. I'm sure there's some that are very locked in on this. But I like the move in a place where they needed to get better and where they felt they had to get better. They've addressed it now. And Eric, they're down to about maybe 2 or 3 spots now where they have questions. 2 spots. They're kind of locked up for next year. And they've done that 2 days into free agency. So they've done a lot of the heavy lifting that they've already needed to do. You have a very good sense of what this roster is going to be like moving into the season. A year ago, remember, this roster was in absolute, not disarray, but a lot of tumult, right? I mean, there were a lot of changes in this roster outside of the core, all season long. There are no excuses. This is a group going in that should have a fairly good understanding of how everyone operates, and this has a chance to be a team that is good from Jump Street, right out of the gate.
To me, this move is not exactly Ray Borkish, but it is in a roundabout way. Brent Burns is a borderline Hall of Fame player. Ray Bork was a Hall of Fame player, no question. Who got the cup pretty much right away from Sakic? Bork, right?
Right.
Okay. Who got the cup pretty much right away from Landeskog? Eric Johnson.
Right.
And granted, those guys are boys.
Yeah.
Those guys are really, really good friends. Brent Burns is the type of guy who will get the cup directly from Gabriel Landeskog. That's how much this guy is respected and revered around the game for his toughness, for the way he has played his entire career.
Well, Eric, what do we always say about virtually any sport when we get into it? The best ability is availability.
Oh, yeah.
And not only is he available, but he brings a skill set with his availability. So you get the best of both worlds. When you set the lineup, you know this guy's going to be there for you. He's going to be able to play. And the fact that he has good skills in your penalty kill and things of that, or whatever your penalty kill. What's his aptitude in which special team?
Penalty kill is tremendous.
Penalty killing, yeah. In his penalty killing. I'm sorry about that. I just had one of your brain moments.
Senioritis.
Yeah, but when you have that,
yeah,
man, that's a really nice piece of the puzzle. And to your point, age is a relative thing for a lot of people. Just look and see where his level of play is and how much he's playing. He's still playing over 20 minutes a game.
Yeah,
at the age of 40.
Okay, I'm going to ask you the question that you're going to hear on Sports Talk Radio either today or moving forward. Which team is closer to winning a championship, the Avalanche or the Nuggets? Okay, I think the snap answer is going to be the Nuggets, and rightfully so after watching everything that they did. Okay, right now they are on track to potentially win another title. Talking about the Nuggets, but I love the position the Avalanche are in now. Love it. Right now, they are like Seabiscuit. They are hanging from behind. They're just hanging out. They have 18 roster spots filled. I can't imagine they're going to dip too much more into free agency. The Avalanche are built through trades. They're not built necessarily through free agency. Over the last 4 years in free agency, they have never paid a guy from the outside average value of $4 million a year. They haven't done it over the last 4 years. Yeah. Let's look at what they did this past season. They loaded up with trades. Didn't work out. That's fine. But let's look at what they have. Now they hopefully will have a healthy Landeskog. Nichushkin, hopefully he's past what he has passed. Then throw in Lehkonen, Makar, McKinnon. They have a really good goaltending situation. They just added another veteran on the blue line. Jonathan Taves is a terrific player. If I'm them, and this is what I mean by Seabiscuit, $7.5 million does not sound like a lot of money being under the cap. But that is a fortune heading into the trade deadline. What do I mean by that? Is it fair to say that if you're an $8 million a year player, you make very, very good money in the NHL? Is that fair to say?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. No question about it.
It's kind of like at the quarterback position. Yeah. If you make $40 million a year, you're considered a very, very good quarterback.
Right.
If you're making $29 million a year, honestly, you're not looked at that way. Fair to say?
Yes, absolutely.
So $8 million is a pretty good mark.
Very good number.
The trade deadline is roughly 75% into the season. How would you like to pick up a couple of $8 million players at $2 million?
Yeah.
Because you're just paying the rest of their contract. So at $7.5 million, you could really pick up some guys. If I'm the Avalanche, I sit tight with what I have. You certainly have enough talent. Get through to the trade deadline, then fill out what you need to on your third and fourth lines. As I've said to you many times before, this is not my quote. It is a quote from John Michael Lyles, who said this to me many years ago. Your top two lines win you games in the regular season. Your bottom two lines win you games in the playoffs. This is the regular season. Let your top two lines, with your goaltending, good enough defense, to win you games in the regular season, and then go to town, filling out lines 3 and 4 if you need to, when you're going to get players who, for lack of a better phrase, you're only paying 25% of your salary. That's what I mean by they're just waiting around. They're like Seabiscuit. They may not be on top of the division, and that's fine. But $7.5 million is a lot of money where they can fill out the rest of their roster with what they have, and boom, they should skyrocket past some teams.
I think they're in a similar situation with the Nuggets in that neither team got off to great starts a year ago. I think that's job number one. Can you get off to a good start? I have a specific question for you.
Wait, can I answer that really quickly? I'm
Sure.
not worried about a good start for the Avalanche. You know why they didn't get off to a good start? Their goaltending situation sucked.
Yeah, it did. That gets back to my whole point of.
And they have Landeskog. They have Landeskog as well.
The roster was never fully developed until like 15 games left in the season. And my argument has always been it's tough to make a solid judgment about a team when you're playing together with all of your pieces for about the last 15 games of the season. But we can take that up at another time. Where is the fit for Marty Necas right now? Because he's a guy that came in last year, had some really nice moments. Don't know if his role, at least in his own mind, was ever clearly defined. He was a guy that ended up passing up shots, kind of got into that Avs kind of mentality of making the extra pass and things like that, which can be really good. But can Marty Necas be a scorer on this team in a more productive and consistent way than he did a year ago?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's talented. And here's the other thing. I'm guessing there's some people out there that will say, Necas, there were reports that he wasn't happy here.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, the reports that he wasn't happy here.
Right.
So should they go after Ehlers from the Jets? Okay. Scored 63 points in 69 games. Yes. If you want to go after him as a free agent, you're going to pay top dollar for him if you want to, but that means you need to trade Necas or somebody to bring this guy in. My argument would be one reason why I don't think they'll do it, pride. They're not going to do it. Why? Who is the key to the Rantanen trade? Who is the
Necas?
You think they're going to say, you know what, we totally fucked up on that one. We're just going to trade Necas. It's going to look foolish. Sometimes the GMs, they will make decisions based on their own pride. Then they will what's best for the team. Kind of like Calvin Booth wanted to stick with all these young guys because he believed in them. They may turn out to be great. I'm not saying McFarland is that type of guy, and Sakic isn't that type of guy, or is that type of guy where they're going to let pride get in the way, like people fall in love with their draft picks. Necas can play. I know, according to reports, he was unhappy here. Let's just see what this guy can do.
Yeah.
Let's just see what this guy can do. He has 1 year left on his deal. Is that right?
Right. Correct.
Fine. And you know what? If he's not playing well, then you trade him.
Okay.
But I would give him a full training camp and see what he can do instead of spending a boatload of money on Ehlers right now, and then you're digging into the cash that you have at the trade deadline. Yeah. Now you're blowing a lot of it on Ehlers.
Fair enough. Yeah. Fair enough. Ehlers is kind of like, aren't Ehlers and Necas basically, aren't they just similar players? Basically what they bring to the table? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. You can certainly make that case. So with you, if you had to bet on it right now, who's closer to winning a title? If you had $100, you could put on the Nuggets or the Avs, who are you putting it on?
Oh man, it's tough. You know what? I'll take a flyer on the Avs. I'll take a flyer on the Avs at this point.
Take a flyer on the Avs. I'll take a flyer on a team with two of the top 5 players in the league.
I don't think there's much difference between the two. Both of them have done a good job in very different ways in realigning their roster to do what they need to do. Both of them are close enough to that championship that they won and the windows that have been afforded to them in the aftermath of it that I can see. I would say that the Avs may be slightly over the Nuggets, and not because of anything that the Nuggets have done, but just because the West is so flipping good and so deep.
In which sport? Both of them.
Well, they're both really good.
Which sport are you talking about?
But man, I mean, when you talk about, I mean, you can get as deep as Dallas, and you've got real problems to deal with in the West. And remember, like teams like San Antonio are further down the line.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, so the West is just problematic. But I think both teams have put themselves squarely in the discussion.
Yeah.
And good for them. I mean, this is the best that you can hope for coming out of the offseason for both franchises.
What do you have going on for the 4th, my friend?
Let's see. What am I doing on the 4th? Not a ton. I'm going to play pickleball first thing tomorrow morning.
Yep.
So you all can get a little chuckle at that. Oh, look, Haertl, how cute. He plays pickleball.
No, you're a really good player.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, I'm a player.
Bruce,
that's all I am.
You're okay. I'll say it for you.
No.
You're right. Hold on. Stop. You're a very, very marginal player.
Yeah, yes, that actually is fairly accurate right there. I try, but so I'll do a little bit of that, and then it'll be family time, and I've got to work on Saturday, but and obviously, and it's our oldest son's birthday tomorrow, so we will enjoy celebrating his birthday, and I guess the country does the same. So there you go.
Candles on his cake or fireworks?
Yeah. Well, if we put candles on his cake, now we need a fire hydrant nearby to put out the blaze.
Right.
We're getting to that point.
I'll just say for me, this year's going to be different for the 4th of July. Last year I was blowing off fireworks, and let's just say I had a small accident. So I'm going to be a little bit more tame this year for the 4th of July.
Well, and you've got to thank you very much for not flipping us off.
No. Actually, this is you would think that I was referring to, right? You would think that I'm referring to blowing off a firework in my hand. No, this was a wood shop incident. Have you ever, do you ever take, I'm kidding.
No, I know you do. But I hope you have a great time in the mountains with your family. That's great. You guys should have a great time. Have a very safe 4th for everyone out there. And I'll look forward to seeing you next Monday.
Yes, I will see you on my daughter's 17th birthday.
Oh, that'll be something to celebrate. There you go.
All right, have a great week. Hey, Alex, pop on in here real quick.
I'm here.
What do you got going? What do you got going for the weekend?
Just working, calling some baseball games and working this beach volleyball tournament. The AVP is in town.
Wow.
For the 4th of July. And I'm going to be working some of that and then just some baseball games.
Is Chris Marlowe
that's kind of cool.
Is Chris Marlowe?
Chris Marlowe, he's not working that, unfortunately.
He's a legend.
Yeah, but I think they come here every year in July. Okay. And it's a lot of fun. Some really good players.
I didn't even know there was sand in Denver.
Yeah, it's at the Island in Aurora. I think it's called the Denver Open is the name of the tournament.
Very cool.
So,
well, enjoy your 4th, both of you guys. See you Monday. Make it the best possible 4th of July you can.